Be me, 27, very online feminist. Years of theory, podcasts, panel talks, believed men were the problem. Toxic masculinity, power dynamics, weaponized incompetence, all that. Wrote essays about it. Argued on Reddit. Corrected men educationally in real life. Felt like I was helping. Wasn't doing it maliciously. Honestly thought I was right. Every statistic pointed to male dominance. CEOs, politicians, assault cases, it all added up. In my head, men were the privileged class. Even average ones benefited from the system, but I never really looked at them. Was out with friends one night. We were doing our usual talk, complaining about men, ghosting, emotional immaturity. He never opens up. One of my friends joked, if men just went to therapy, the world would be fixed. Everyone laughed. I did too. But then I remember something. An old roommate I had. Quiet guy. Kept to himself. One night, I came home late. Found him sitting on the kitchen floor. Bare and humped. Just staring. Asked him if he was okay. He said, I don't know. That was it. I laughed it off. Told him to get some sleep. He moved out 2 weeks later. Never saw him again. That memory hit weird. So I went home and looked up male suicide stats. Highest rate is men, by a lot. Men are more likely to die by suicide than women in nearly every country. Why hadn't I ever internalized that? Why didn't we talk about that? Decided to do something, not publicly, not for content, just curiosity. Wanted to see if men really had it easy emotionally. Started small, messaged some old male acquaintances. Nothing flirty. Just, hey, have you been? Some took hours to reply. Some responded like I had ulterior motives. Others said, wow, no one's asked me that in forever. One guy said, I thought you messaged the wrong person, Lo. They were all surprised. Like emotionally ambushed by kindness. Try to go deeper. Ask one what he does when he's sad. He said, sleep or game. Another said he doesn't talk about feelings. Because when he did, girls left. Said he was too intense or clingy. So he stopped trying. Now just works, lifts, scrolls, repeats. Started seeing it everywhere. Men don't get compliments. Don't get touched unless they're in a relationship. Don't get emotional support unless they pay for it. Even online. If a guy opens up, he's mocked or ignored. If a girl does, she gets a flood of support. You're so brave. Sending hugs. Guys get men up or silence. One post stayed with me. Random Reddit comment. I think I'd be happier if someone just hugged me without a reason. Almost cried reading that. Not because it was dramatic, because it was basic. Just touch. Just warmth. That's all he wanted. And he hadn't had it in years. Started rewatching old convos. Times I'd shut men down for being too soft. Times I'd mocked short king yokes. Times I told men to open up, but secretly got uncomfortable when they did. Realized I had been demanding emotional labor, while offering nothing in return, even remembered past dates. Guys who weren't great at texting, I assumed they were lazy. Maybe they just didn't know how to open up safely. One guy told me his mom died when he was 13. I had no idea how to react. Changed the subject to something stupid, like weekend plans. He never brought it up again. Maybe that was my fault. Kept digging. Joined a male-oriented support group online. They didn't know I was a woman. Just lurked. Read post after post. Divorced dads. Lonely guys in their 30s. Teens struggling with confidence. Men who hadn't heard, I love you in years. Some just wanted to vent. Some were at their limit. These weren't incels or whatever. Just regular guys. Struggling. Alone. And no one cared. Felt shame. Not because I was evil, but because I was blind. I thought I was fighting injustice. But I'd built my worldview on a half-truth. Only looked at power. Never pain. Stopped calling myself a feminist. Not because I hate women, but because the brand felt dishonest. It had no room for nuance. Only slogans, only villains. No space for empathy, especially not for men. Now I just listen. Not to TikToks or headlines, but to people, especially the quiet ones. The ones who don't post, who don't vent, who hold it all in because no one asked. One of them once told me, the strongest guys are the ones who never got to be soft. That sentence changed me, because it's true, and we never thank them for it.